Greetings from East Lansing and the conference office of the Michigan Conference of the United Church of Christ. I'm Campbell, Lovett, Conference Minister, and today I'm offering another installment of Faith for Thought. Today I want to reflect upon endurance in the midst of change, and I want to begin that reflection by sharing with you about three churches that I've been involved with in my work here in Michigan. The first is a church that seems to be firing on all cylinders. They have excellent pastoral leadership. They have a vital and vibrant mission in the community. They have programs that serve the needs of all of their members, and they have a worship service and experience that really is life-giving. And yet beneath the surface, when one speaks with some of the older members there, they say, well, what about us? What about the way the church used to be? We don't feel that we've been brought along with all the changes, however good they are, that are occurring in the life of the church. Another church just 4 or 5 years ago was considering closing. They'd had a significant conflict with their pastor and asked the pastor to leave. They had trouble financing the deferred maintenance that need to happen to the building, and they wondered about their future. But with finding appropriate pastoral leadership, with the church leadership and members saying we're willing to take some risks to be the church that we need to be for the future, that church is now thriving, and many of the members are saying this is the most alive and exciting our church has been in more than 4 decades. And then a third church can't afford even part-time pastoral leadership. And yet the membership and the church leaders have identified significant community mission that the church is offering in their context. They have a very powerful food ministry. They have advocacy for people in need in that community. And they say to themselves, we can't close. The community is relying on us to do this very important mission work. 3 different churches, 3 very different scenarios of change, and they all are working on how do we be the church that we need to be for the future. Here at the conference, our Vital Growth Mission Area team that's been promoting so much of the revitalization and vitality work that's been sponsored by the conference in the last couple of years is now working on what do we do with the change that happens in our churches as they're revitalizing. And so they're working on what it would look like to offer a conference or a workshop or some sort of resource to help our churches that are in the midst of change, both revitalizing or those churches that are struggling more and more. Our board of directors is reading a very significant article about next steps in the wilderness and what it means to be working with adaptive change, both as a conference and in the local church. I think that's going to offer significant help to us as we resource and equip our churches that are dealing with change in their particular contexts. In last week's lectionary gospel lesson from the Gospel of Luke, Jesus talks about the time when not stone will be left upon stone at the Jerusalem temple. And the disciples want to know, when will this time be? But Jesus says, the time, that's not for you to know, but just know that in the midst of all the changes and calamity, those who endure to the end will save their souls. I think that's an important message for us to remember. I've described 3 churches that are in the midst of their own changes, and they're wondering when the time will come for change, but also for when they will feel that things are settled. And so as we move in our own times of change, I'm hoping and praying that each one of our local churches will move into this time faithfully, with innovation, and with endurance, remembering those words from Jesus that those who endure to the end will save their souls. I think that's the good news for us today and is our faith for thought. Thank you, and God bless.